Okay. Topics that we have looked at so far. Right? We have looked at. I've introduced you the subject. We have looked at the social factor, right, which impacts the idea behind social media and social networking. Right? We also looked at the state, right, what are the trends concerning social networking and social media and how it impacts the enterprise last week. Before that, we have looked at the meaning behind the what we call as the GIE, the globally the globally integrated enterprise, right? Okay, meaning that what is the outlook, or how would an enterprise or a business organization essentially use all the tools that are available to it, be it technologically enabled tools such as in the internet, or even more specifically social media or social network tools, right? In order to create a business organization that is integrated, or that can be integrated easily to any market around the world, thus creating a truly global enterprise, right? And now we want to focus that particular discussion to this particular aspect, social media marketing, right? So now we want to look at how can we use, right, social network and social media tools in order to enhance our marketing, right? So the topic will be divided into two parts. Number one, we will explore what are the fundamentals of social media marketing, what are its basic aspects, what are the pros and cons, or what are the things that we have to know about it, what are the aspects of it that we can, that we must try to relearn, right, or to unlearn some of the negative aspects that we might, or some of the things that we might, some of the wrong things that we think, that we associate with social networking that we might need to unlearn, right? And then we will also look at how we can apply social networking tools within the strategic elements of the marketing approach, right? So that will be the two topics that we will be looking at today, right? For the first part, let us revisit again. Alright, look at what will be the fundamentals, right, or the basic elements within social media marketing. Alright, what are the stuff that define social media marketing? Okay. The outcome here is to examine the meaning of social media marketing, to showcase what are some of the misconceptions concerning social media marketing, and also to look at what are the characteristics of a successful social media marketing efforts or activities. Alright, so that is what we're going to look at first. Alright, this constitutes the fundamentals of social media marketing. Alright, now what is social media marketing? Essentially, social media marketing refers to the use of social networks, online communities, blogs, wikis, or any other online collaborative media for marketing, sales, public relations, and customer service. That is what we mean by social media marketing. Meaning that when you talk about all the tools and the social media channels and the social media networks that are available to you, right? And social media, we know that it is driven by the social factor. This desire for us to congregate and meet one another, and it is fueled by the idea of common interests. Right? When you share certain commonalities with one another, you tend to talk about, right, the same thing with one another. Now, that particular act can be good and bad. Always remember that. Alright? It is good in a sense that it can bring us together in one place. That is very good. Alright? What is very bad about social media, and we've seen, alright, the negative impact of social media happening around us. Alright? What is bad about social media is that it creates a condition. Alright? And that particular condition is known as echo chambers. Alright? Or echo chambers. What is echo chambers? It is simply a condition where opinion, or single opinion for that matter, single opinion is being amplified. When someone say a single thing, alright, and all of you who are there agree with that particular person, what will happen to that particular opinion? It will be amplified. It will be made louder, alright, and this can have negative consequences, alright. For example, this idea of an echo chamber created, alright, for Facebook, especially last year in 2016, a lot of problem concerning fake news. And until today, alright, Facebook is dealing with this particular problem. Late last year, they have employed, alright, almost a few thousand fact checkers to work with them, which cost them around a few $100 million in terms of costs incurred in terms of operating Facebook. Okay, and that has become a perpetual problem. So much so that last week, Mark Zuckerberg himself admitted that he is probably wrong. Right? In his own words, he is probably wrong in terms of his reaction, right, against accusation that Facebook was propagating fake news during the US election. He admitted that maybe Facebook did have a major impact. And we will probably know more about that particular impact in the coming months, alright? Because there is an investigation being done over whether or not Facebook has been used to amplify fake news, alright? Now, when you talk about an echo chamber, alright, it can have a negative impact. This is the negative impact, alright? But it can also be a positive thing as well, if you look at it in terms of how it serves marketing. In marketing, an echo chamber effect can be good. Why? Because echo chamber can help spread the message across much faster. Just like how fake news will spread so much faster because of social networking, good news can also spread as fast. Alright? And this sort of approach leads to many things, including, for example, the fostering of viral, alright, marketing. At times, we can also use it for virtual marketing, or some would call it guerrilla marketing effort, alright. And all of this is very much enabled through this, alright, social media marketing effort, alright. And what are the common tools that we can use in order to propagate all these particular marketing characteristics, if you will, alright, through social networking or social media? The common social media tools that you can use include Twitter, blogs, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But not all of them would have the same impact or the same sort of abilities. Alright? Some are much better at it than others. Alright? Facebook is definitely one of them. Alright? Facebook, in terms of eyeball-to-eyeball rating alone, makes it one of the largest social networks out there, and also one of the most effective ones too. Alright? We are talking about 2 billion eyeballs, alright, looking at it at one time. So the reach of Facebook is huge. Same can be said with Instagram, which is also part of the Facebook group, alright? Same can be said about YouTube. Although YouTube is not part of Facebook, they are part of another, even larger group of companies that is associated with internet, which is Google, or its current parent company, Alphabet. Alright? YouTube is part of that particular company. And you can see that for these types of tools and channels or network, right, their ability to reach a wide range of audiences, both in terms of variations of demographic characteristics as well as sheer number of people, is huge. Alright? You look at YouTube, one of the top sites on the internet in terms of the number of visitors per day. Alright? That alone tells you the importance of YouTube. And you find that a lot of companies are now getting more and more resources into this channel compared to other mass media channels out there. For example, you can see that a lot of companies are changing their marketing, communication spending away from mass media towards social media. Right? And that is in essence what social media marketing is all about. Right? And what are the point? Right? What are the main point of engaging in social media marketing? Right? Number one is you want to create attention. That is number one. Right? The basic reason behind engaging in social media is for us to create attention towards our products or services. Right? And this particular attention can, and it's not only limited to, can also be expressed through content that are viral in nature. Alright? That has become one of the sort of minor objective, if you will, for many brands, to have whatever content that they put online to become viral, to be followed extensively by people, to be watched and responded to extensively by people. And many brands like to do that. Okay? Viralness have a long history in what do you call that, in marketing. Alright? The first instance where viral marketing is said to happen within the realm of communication technology was way back when, in Japan, back in the early 1990s. Right? The first company to actually became viral in terms of the content was Kao, a Japanese company. Right? When Kao created a Happy Valentine's Day message using SMS. And what they did, they just randomly SMS that particular Kao message to their workers. Right? Kao wishes you Happy Valentine's Day. And what happened? The workers share that particular SMS with other people outside of the workplace. And what happened? That message at that time was seen as attractive, and that message was shared by other people, and the whole message became viral. And accidentally, so Kao did not plan it to be viral. Right? And what happened? From that day on, people realized the power of content marketing. Right? And people have been doing a variation of that since that until today. Alright? And will probably continue doing it in the future as well. Alright? Another important aspect of social media marketing is to build what we call as enable consumers to express themselves through the brand, or in other words, to create fans out of the brand. Alright? And that is why, for example, you see a lot of social media channels are being used by brands to create their own personal channel. Right? And they treat that personal channel as if it is another person. For example, if you look at Red Bull's, alright, what do you call that, Facebook page, for example, it is as if Red Bull is a person. Alright? Red Bull is posting something on the internet. Red Bull is telling you happy birthday. Alright? Or Red Bull is wishing you Merry Christmas. Alright? And why is that so? They are trying to personalize a brand. Alright? To enhance the brand personality further. Alright? And that has become also a major aspect of what social media marketing is all about. You look at almost all major brands, and I say almost and not all. Alright? Almost all major brands would have a presence in social media. Samsung would have its own Samsung Malaysia page. Coca-Cola has its own Coca-Cola Malaysia page. Starbucks would have its own Starbucks Malaysia. In fact, you think of a brand, there will be an a Malaysia page or even a Facebook page, a Twitter page for that particular brand. Only one brand that I know of, one major brand that doesn't have any of that, Apple. Alright, Apple doesn't have an official Apple Facebook, Twitter or Instagram or whatnot. They don't have. Alright, apart from Apple, almost every other major brands out there across many different product segments and services do have their own social media page. And the way that particular social media page is run, it is as if the brand, the product or the services that are being essentially the content meant for those particular services, products and brands, as if it is being put up by the brand itself as a person, alright, in a first person perspective, alright. And the reason behind it, to build this fans and followers for that brand, alright. That is the second point of it. The third aspect of social media marketing is, of course, to enable online conversations. Now, what is the purpose of online conversations? Many things, alright. Number one is, of course, to create content. Alright, so that you can get information about products and services, number one. Number two, to create actual conversation so they can get reaction towards that particular content. Number three, to understand the customer's condition, alright, and the customer acceptance of their product and services. And of course, number four, perhaps the most important thing, is to conduct market research. Alright, not just content is being put through social media. Social media is also used to put a lot of polling, for example, polls, alright? A lot of questions are being asked, and the data generated from those polls and questions is often analyzed through actions that we call as analytics, alright? So conversations happening online based on social media postings on content is also used to generate analytics data. Right, one of them, not the only source of analytics data, by the way. Other sources are also being used to generate analytics data, but this one is a very important source. Example, Facebook. For those who went to the talk that was organized by the marketing department 2 weeks ago concerning social media and the usage of Facebook, for example, you will see that Facebook has become almost like a master in terms of understanding the audience's behavior in lieu with marketing through their posting, even through the pictures that they post online. Facebook now has the AI and the algorithm to understand what type of products that these people might be willing to buy. For example, if you like cats and you put in a lot of pictures of your cat in and share pictures of other cats, they know that particular person likes pets. Alright, and when a pet-based company is going to do a targeted marketing campaign, you will be chosen as part of that audiences for that particular campaign. Alright, so conversation online is very important, regardless whether the conversation is controlled or not by the organization. It doesn't matter if they start the conversation or someone else started the conversation. As long as people talk about a product, a service or a brand, those sort of conversation, content, pictures, anything and everything that is being shared will be used for analytical purposes. And that is also as one of the three important aspects of social media marketing. Right now, the second outcome that we want to look at for this particular topic is, what are the misconceptions? Alright, what are the things that we should erase when it comes to understanding social media? Alright, as marketing students, these are the things that you should unlearn. Alright, you should not believe anymore. Number one is the idea that social media is just a fad, meaning that it's a temporary thing. Alright, remove that thoughts from your mind. Alright, I can tell you right now that social media is not a fad. What is temporary is the channel itself, the specific channel. Meaning that Twitter will not be here forever. We know that. Alright, we can expect that. Facebook will not be here forever. We've seen the effect of social media and how it changes. Alright. But what we are sure of is that even though the channels, a specific channel will come and go, alright, will change their behavior, will change their outlook, will change how they are being accepted by people in the world. But the idea behind social network will remain, right? Look at, for example, 10 years ago, we have Friendsters and Napsters and what else? What's the other one? Apart from Friendster, very popular here in Malaysia, the other one. Huh? Can you remember the old social media channel? You have Friendster, the other one is what? Huh? Huh? MSN. MSN is still here. MySpace. Alright. MySpace is still here, by the way. Alright. MySpace is still here, but not doing that good of a business now. Alright. Okay. Now, those social networks, they have been replaced by the likes of Twitter, by the likes of Facebook, right? And perhaps 10 years down the line, we will see Facebook and Twitter being replaced by something else. But social media itself will be here to stay, right? We have reached a point where social media has become an indelible point or part of our life. If you were to remember the topic that we discussed, theoretical topic on social media, for example, one of the last theory that I've discussed, the McLachlan theory on media, for example, the medium is the message, right? That particular discussion happened back in 1969, right? And we've seen the realization of that particular theory right now. And you look at the content of that particular theoretical discussion, probably, and not to say probably, we can be pretty sure that social media is right now part of the media landscape in the world. We cannot run away from it. Maybe the channel will change, just like how channels in traditional media has changed. For example, 20, 30 years ago, the newspaper was very dominant, alright, as a media channel, but now no more. Alright, 40, 50 years ago, the magazine was very dominant, alright, as a channel of information. Now, no more. Okay? Same with social media. Right now, sure, Facebook is very dominant as a channel for social media. But perhaps 20 years down the line, no more. Alright? But social media itself will always be here. Why? Because no doubt, people are social and want to always connect to each other socially. Alright? And that the evolution of the internet, marketing and social media move concurrently with one another. If you were to remember, when we talk about the social factor, one condition will always ensure the success and support for certain media type, and that is business support. Whenever business support a certain technology, that particular technology can grow. Right? For example, look at the internet. Right? When businesses put their support over the internet or behind the internet became a very successful technology. Right? There are plenty of technologies out there where businesses fail to support, and you find that that particular technology failed to become important. Right? But in social media, you find that businesses, marketing, and all the efforts associated with business support it a lot. Alright? So that's number one. Remember, social media is not a fad. Alright? Number two, this one. Social media is just for the young. Alright? Remember, that is not true. Okay? Old people go to social media as well. Alright? And they are very active online. And they are very active on social media. Okay? And you can read many statistics out there supporting this particular fact. Alright? And for example, this is a very outdated data. 48% of people over 55, for example, especially in major markets, have Facebook accounts. Alright? So it tells you that this idea that, oh, social media marketing only meant for young people, that is wrong. Alright? All people are in social media. My father has a social media account. My stepfather has a social media account. My mom is not active in social media. Right? My mom is not really into social media that much. Okay? But the point here is that all people are very active on social media. So it is not meant for young people alone. Alright? Third one, there is no return in social media marketing. That is also not true. Alright? When you are engaged in social media marketing, you stand to increase your revenue, your ability to generate revenue. That is being proven by many efforts being done by many different companies out there. Classic example is, of course, this particular experiment which was conducted by Dell and IBM years ago. Right? They want to see whether or not they can actually make money out of their social media engagement. So they went and engaged IBM, who is now one of the experts in social media and social media marketing. They created a customer service Twitter account in the United States with the objective of reducing their customer service costs. Right, or the cost of doing customer service. After 1 year of having that particular program in place, Dell discovered that they managed to generate out of that program alone $6.5 million worth of profit. Alright, based on that particular activity alone. And that was an experiment. It wasn't even a full-fledged activity yet. So based on that result, it became a quite famous case study in business schools around the world, and they found out that yes, many other similar activities, or what is now being called as content marketing activities, being done using social media will yield positive revenue, alright, meaning we will earn some profit from it, and many companies have essentially adopted that particular approach, including Lenovo, who adopted Dell's approach and managed to reduce 20% of its customer service costs as well. And you look at many brands now, they will have a lot of social media components, especially for their customer service element. Alright? Even Malaysian companies now are doing the same thing. For example, Telekom Malaysia, TM. Alright? Right now, TM is encouraging everyone to, rather than use their call center to get customer service information, use their online services, alright, to get good prompt customer service help, alright. And those sort of activities can actually bring about positive revenue. So there is a return when you are engaging in social media activities, alright. Social media marketing isn't right for some businesses, right? Also not true. Many data have shown that when you are in business and you are engaging in social media marketing, you can improve your brand standing, alright, in many different facets, alright. Actual activities, operational aspect, also improve your branding in terms of the corporate branding effort, alright. We know that that is true, alright. Many data have shown from Nielsen, from any other research organization, that there will be positive growth for any brand that is engaging in social media marketing effort. Alright, so that is myth number 4. Now is myth number 5. Social media marketing is new. It is not new. Alright, it is very old. The principles that guide social media marketing is the very basic or fundamental marketing principle that guides many other efforts that we do in business. So it is not new. The things that you do in social media is as old as marketing itself. Alright? So whatever it is that you want to do social media, the approach is the same. It's only the medium where you put those particular content is different. Slightly different dynamics than your traditional media that you use to put in your content. What will be the difference in terms of the dynamic? The ownership of your content, for example. Right? The channel itself is much more public and democratic in nature. Right? It is not the same as traditional media where the control over the channel is being held by organizations and business. In social media, the control is shared by the media owner, the public that is engaging in the media, and the organization that is using the media for marketing purposes. Alright? Apart from that, everything else that you do is based on your normal or traditional marketing principles. Alright? Number 6, social media is too time consuming. Not if it is done right. If you have a dedicated, well-trained and a team alright, that is well versed in the nature of the internet, social media marketing can become almost second nature, far more effective and far cheaper than traditional media marketing. Alright, so much so that you can see a shift, a lot of shift in terms of resources being put on social media marketing versus traditional media marketing. Alright, even major companies like Sony, for example, shifted almost 60% of their traditional media expenditure to social media marketing. Alright, companies like Coca-Cola, for example, alright, no longer spend as much money in advertising than they do doing activities concerning social media. Alright, and that particular trend can, if you want to know more about that particular trend, you can read, alright, the Advertising Age annual report on media spending that will normally be released at the end of the year. Alright, that particular report is available in the public. The Malaysian report, the Malaysian media report, you have to buy it. Alright, the report is already out for next year, last year, sorry, 2016. Alright, you can buy it in all major bookstores if you are interested. Right, and you will find that a lot of those media channels, they are paying, they are being paid less and less, alright, to advertise products, and more companies are using social media to do marketing communication, right? And this has increased tremendously with the advent of mobile devices, or the popularity of mobile devices, right? And a lot more tools are now being made available in order for us to get data, right, from social media marketing, right? And to enable us to do social media marketing as well. For example, tools such as Hootsuite, TweetDeck, and GoTweet. These are examples of apps, for example, that you can download on your phone to do a lot of social media marketing and to get data from your social media marketing activities, right? And the last myth, right, about social media, class, right, the last myth about social media is this: the idea that social media is free. That is also not true. Social media is not free. The media mostly are free, right? Meaning that Facebook is free for businesses and for end users alike. Twitter is free. Coca-Cola doesn't need to pay Twitter anything to set up a Twitter page. But managing that particular channel is not free if you're a business. Content that you put in those channels are not free. You have to develop and pay money for it. Alright? Analyzing data from those websites, including if you were to use analytics tools from Facebook or from Google, they are also not free. You have to pay Google, you have to pay Facebook for those data. Alright? So social media marketing, generally speaking, it is free, the medium itself. But the rest of the activities that you do in order to take advantage of social media marketing, you have to pay for it. And the payment is not just in terms of money. Alright, there are also other type of costs, time and resources costs. You need to train people, get people to work for you. That will take a lot of time and resources. Alright, like I've said earlier. Content need to be produced by the companies themselves, and that will cost money as well. And finally, there will be consultancy costs involved. Right? So these are the 7 myths concerning. Alright, we will watch this video again later on. And now, here is a brief historical timeline of social media on the internet. Not that important. Alright? Now, this part is very important. First, let us look at this part first. Now, what makes social media marketing so different from traditional media marketing? Right? Here are the 2 things that we have to take into account as marketers. Number 1, the idea of control versus contribution. Right? When you talk about traditional media and how it is related to marketing, what makes traditional media such a powerful tool before this, right? Before the age of social media, traditional media holds a powerful, they have a powerful role and influence over our life. The reason is because who controls traditional media? Essentially, traditional media is being controlled by organization, companies and brands. They run traditional media. They know how to do it. Everything about them is under their control. They sponsor content, right? They pay money for advertisement. They pay money for airtime, whether in radio or on TV. They pay money for pages on magazines or in newspapers. They pay money for spaces on what do you call that, billboards and many other out-of-home media. They control the channel, alright? But in social media, the channel is no longer under their control. The control of the channel is being shared by us, the users, and that changed the dynamics a lot. Meaning that whatever the things that they can get away with 20 or 30 years ago, they cannot get away with it now. Alright? Why? Because we can react towards what they put online much faster, much quicker, and we have influence over the content that they put on the internet. And the influence of us over what they do cannot be relegated because of the nature of social media itself, where the bulk of what is happening within social media is under the control of the society rather than the media owner. Look at Facebook, for example. Facebook has very little control over the echo chamber that exists on Facebook, right? What people say, the fake news that was being spread using Facebook, Facebook itself cannot control, they cannot censor it, they cannot filter it out. Why? Because bulk of that particular control rests in the hands of the users of Facebook themselves. Right? So that creates an interesting dynamic there. Number two, trust building. Right? When it comes to social media marketing, right, the idea of trust agents, okay, and influencers become very, very important. Right? Trust agents and influencers, they play a significant role in social media marketing. You will find that in social media marketing, traditional celebrities have very less control over the content. People don't rely on them anymore. What people rely on is this. Right? And look at the second one, the idea of influencers. Look at how many YouTube celebrities out there. Right? People who became famous not through the normal channel of fame. They are not film stars, they are not TV stars, they are not singers, right? But they became famous due to their involvement in social media itself. Even singers, you have categories of performers who are performing exclusively on social media itself. Right? They become famous due to social media rather than traditional media such as music videos or radio. Right? That tells you the different sort of dynamics that is happening. And the reason is because social media is built upon the idea of trust building rather than hype building. Right? Normal or mass media is built on hype building. Right? You create hype. Alright, people buy onto the hype and then they consume the media. Whereby social media, people look at it themselves, judge on what the content that they see themselves, and from it they create a sense of trust towards that particular content. That is the behavioral change, and it is closely related to the idea of control versus contribution as well. So that's what makes social media marketing different. And here are some of the characteristics in terms of how you yourself can become a successful social media marketer. Alright, based on the basic fundamentals of social media, if you want to be successful in the field of marketing, these are the characteristics that you have to have. Alright, you can divide it into two. Number one, technical skill and personal skill. Alright, in terms of technical skill, all of you should have basic computer skills, right? And when I say basic computer skills, I mean one thing. that you should master from now on if you want to land that good job after you graduate. One thing that you should be very good at, something that I am not good at, by the way, alright? Excel. If you want to be a good marketer, master the usage of Excel. Excel spreadsheet is everything. Right? Of course, there are many other programs and many other spreadsheet programs that you will be using in the industry. But if you are graduating from a university and you don't know how to use Excel properly, you won't get the job. Because if you cannot master that one, how are you going to master all those specific programs that you will use later? A lot of the time now, when you interview for those top posts that will offer you good starting salary, one of the things that they will test you, they will give you an Excel test. They will give you a data set. From the data set, create an Excel spreadsheet from that data set. Basic test. If you cannot do that, you won't get the job. It's as simple as that. Alright? So learn those basic computer skills. Excel especially. Marketers who cannot do Excel, you should not be in marketing now. That is the reality of the marketing world right now. Okay? Number 2, proficiency with search engines. Alright? Know how to do extensive search.